My name is Eric, and for the past 15 years, I have been a Navy officer. It's a life that demands everything from you: your time, your energy, even pieces of your soul. Welcome back to Wives Gone Wild. We're grateful for your support. Where are you joining us from? We enjoy seeing who shares these wild moments. Now, today's cheating wife story begins. There were mornings when I woke to the sharp blare of alarms instead of the soft whisper of my wife's voice. Meals were eaten from metal trays, not from the warmth of our kitchen table. The vast, unyielding ocean was my companion, while home felt like a distant dream. But I loved my job. There was something about wearing that uniform, standing on deck as the sun melted into the horizon, knowing I was part of something bigger than myself. Duty, honor, service. Those words meant everything to me. Yet, in the quiet moments, when the sea stretched endlessly in every direction, it wasn't just my country I thought about. It was her, Clara. She was my anchor, my safe harbor after the storm. Every deployment, every lonely night under the stars, was bearable because I knew, no matter how far I was, she was waiting for me. The thought of stepping through our front door after months away, of seeing her smile, feeling her arms around me, it was enough to keep me going. I would picture her, standing by the window, her long hair catching the light, her eyes sparkling with that familiar warmth. She had this way of making even silence feel like home. On the rare days I was with her, I wasn't an officer or a man hardened by duty. I was simply hers. And that was enough. Never once did I doubt her love. Never once did I question her loyalty. Until the day I came home early and discovered the truth that shattered everything I believed in. There are moments in life when you think everything is as it should be, until suddenly, it's not. I remember the day it all changed. It started with an unexpected call, a rare 5-day administrative leave. For a Navy officer like me, that was a gift, an opportunity to step away from the regimented life at sea and return to the only place that truly felt like home. A chance to surprise the woman I loved. The drive back was long, but my heart was light. I replayed memories in my head. Quiet Sunday mornings with Clara curled up next to me, laughter echoing through our home. The way she'd run into my arms after every deployment as if no time had passed. Lately, though, something had felt different. Our calls weren't the same. Her voice, once full of warmth, seemed distant. Her laughter, usually so carefree, felt forced, like an echo of what it used to be. I had told myself it was nothing. Maybe she was stressed. Maybe loneliness had weighed on her after all these months apart. She just needs me, I reassured myself. Once I'm home, everything will be okay. But as I turned onto our street, a strange feeling settled in my chest, an unease I couldn't quite explain. Her car wasn't in its usual spot. That was odd. Clara rarely went out this early. Maybe she had stepped out for groceries or an errand. Then, I noticed something else. The curtains were drawn. Clara loved sunlight. She always said it made her feel more alive. She would sit by the window, letting the golden rays spill across her notebook as she wrote. Our home was always filled with light. But today, the house felt closed off, silent. As the taxi rolled to a stop, I leaned forward, studying the house. My house. Our house. A place that was supposed to be my sanctuary. I stepped out, suitcase in hand, my heartbeat quickening for reasons I couldn't explain. Maybe it was nothing. Maybe I was overthinking. Or maybe, deep down, I already knew. There's a certain kind of silence that doesn't feel peaceful. It feels wrong. As I stepped inside, the familiar warmth of home was missing. No soft music playing from the kitchen. No lingering scent of Clara's perfume. No welcoming voice calling my name. Just silence. I set my bag down carefully, listening. The house wasn't empty. I could feel it. Something in the air was off. That's when I noticed them. A pair of sneakers by the door, too big to be Clara's, too unfamiliar to be mine. My chest tightened. My pulse quickened. A scent I didn't recognize drifted through the air, masculine, musky. A cologne I had never worn. My mind struggled to reason with what my instincts were already screaming. Maybe a guest? A friend? A family member stopping by? But even as the thoughts formed, I knew. I knew. A murmur. A low laugh. Coming from down the hall. My stomach twisted into knots as I moved forward, my feet slow and deliberate. Every step felt heavier than the last. The hallway stretched endlessly before me, each breath harder to take. Then I reached the bedroom door. It was closed. I hesitated, my hand hovering over the knob. I wanted to believe I was imagining things, that I was wrong, that I'd open the door and find nothing but my own paranoia staring back at me. But deep down, I already knew what I was about to see. I pushed the door open, and there they were. Clara, a man I had never seen before, tangling together in our bed. Time slowed. My world tilted. Every certainty I had ever known crumbled in an instant. The man, tall, broad, dark-skinned, froze, his body tense with guilt. Clara, my wife, the woman I had trusted with my life, stared at me with wide, horrified eyes. I heard nothing, felt nothing. The weight of betrayal crushed me, suffocating, unbearable. For years, I had faced storms at sea, brave battles that pushed me to my limits. But nothing, had prepared me for this. She opened her mouth, but no words came. I should have yelled. I should have demanded answers. I should have done something. But I just stood there, drowning in the unbearable stillness. Then, finally, my voice cut through the silence. Get dressed. Cold. Controlled. A voice that didn't even feel like my own. Both of you, meet me in the living room. Some moments in life are so painful, so surreal, that they don't feel real at all. As I stood there, watching Clara scramble to pull on her clothes, her hands shaking, I felt nothing. No rage. No heartbreak. Just a hollow emptiness, like something inside me had been ripped away. The man, this stranger, moved with less panic. He dressed in silence, his eyes unreadable, as if he had already accepted whatever was about to happen next. For a brief moment, Clara looked up, her lips parted, as if searching for words, some excuse, some explanation. But I wasn't interested in hearing anything yet. Living room. Now. I turned and walked away. As I sat down, staring at the empty coffee table, my thoughts raced. Memories of Clara, of us, of everything we had built together, tainted now, poisoned by what I had just seen. Then, they appeared. Clara sat on the far edge of the couch, avoiding my eyes, her fingers twisting nervously in her lap. The man took the chair across from me, his posture tense but composed. His hands were clasped tightly, like someone bracing for judgment. I looked at them both. How long? My voice was calm, unnervingly so. Years of naval training had taught me how to control my emotions, even in chaos. But inside, I was a storm. Clara flinched. She swallowed hard before answering. I don't know, she whispered. A few months. I clenched my jaw. The betrayal wasn't just a mistake. It was a choice, over and over again. How did it start? She took a shaky breath, her voice barely above a whisper. It wasn't supposed to happen. It started as friendship. I was just lonely. I let out a bitter laugh, shaking my head. Lonely? While I was out there, risking my life. Calling you every chance I got. Thinking about you every single day. She nodded, tears slipping down her cheeks. I know it was wrong. I didn't mean for it to go this far. I turned my gaze to the man sitting across from me. And you? I asked, my voice sharp. Did you know she was married? His jaw tensed, but he didn't hesitate. Yes, he admitted. I knew. My fists clenched, but I forced myself to stay still. And you still did it. He exhaled, looking me straight in the eyes. I should have stayed away. I didn't. And I'm sorry. Sorry. I repeated, the word like poison on my tongue, as if that could erase what they had done. Clara wiped at her face, her voice breaking. Eric, please. I never stopped loving you. This wasn't about you. It was about me and how I felt. I was weak. I was wrong. But please, believe me. I didn't mean to hurt you. I let out a slow breath, letting her words sink in. Did it even matter? You didn't mean to hurt me, I said quietly. But you did. And that's the only thing that matters now. Silence fell over the room. Heavy. Suffocating. I had spent my life following orders, navigating storms, knowing exactly what to do in a crisis. But at that moment, I had no roadmap, no protocol for how to survive this. All I knew was one thing. I can't do this anymore. The words were quiet, steady, final. Clara let out a broken sob, but I didn't stay to hear more. I turned and walked to the bedroom, the same bedroom where my life had just unraveled. I grabbed a duffel bag and started packing. There are moments in life when everything changes in an instant. When the person you thought you knew, the life you thought you had, crumbles right before your eyes. I moved through the bedroom in silence, grabbing what I needed. A duffel bag, some clothes, toiletries, anything to get me through the next few days. My hands worked on autopilot, but my mind was a storm of emotions, each one crashing into the next. Betrayal, anger, loss. I reached for my nightstand and my fingers brushed against a framed photo. Our wedding day. Clara in her white dress, smiling up at me like I was her whole world. And me, standing beside her, believing that this moment would last forever. How foolish I had been. I left the photo where it was. It didn't belong in the world I was stepping into now. As I walked back through the living room, Clara was still sitting there, her eyes red and swollen. She started to say something, maybe another apology, maybe a plea, but I didn't stop. I opened the front door, stepped outside, and let the cool air hit my face. And then I shut the door behind me. I don't remember much of the drive. The roads blurred together, my mind lost somewhere between the past and the present. Every memory I had of us felt tainted now. Every laugh, every kiss, every whispered promise. How many times had I told her I would always come home to her? And how many times, while I was gone, had she invited someone else into my place? I should have felt rage. Maybe in time I would. But in that moment, all I felt was emptiness. I checked into a small motel near the naval base. It wasn't much, a tiny room with peeling wallpaper and a bed that creaked under my weight. But it was quiet. And right now, that was all I needed. For the first time in years, I had no plan. No orders to follow. No mission ahead. Just the devastating realization that the life I had built was gone. Filing for divorce wasn't an easy decision. For 15 years, I had trusted Clara with everything. I had believed in her, in us. I had thought that no matter how far I traveled, no matter how long I was away, we would always find our way back to each other. I was wrong. Trust is like glass. Once shattered, you can try to piece it back together, but the cracks will always be there, reminding you of what was lost. And I couldn't live like that. Not with her. Not in that house. Not after everything I had seen. So I did the only thing I could. I called a lawyer, signed the papers, and began the painful process of letting go. Letting go of her. Letting go of us. Letting go of the future I thought we had. It hurt more than I could put into words. But deep down, I knew it was the only choice I had left. People say time heals all wounds. I don't believe that. Some wounds never fully heal. They just become part of you. Scars that remind you of what was lost, of what will never be the same again. In the days after I left, I moved like a ghost through my own life. The motel room was small, the air stale, but it was mine. At least here, no memories of Clara lingered in the corners. No scent of her perfume, no echoes of her laughter. Just silence. I spent hours staring at the ceiling, my mind replaying everything. Our first date, our wedding day, the nights we spent dreaming about the future. And then, like a cruel contrast, the last image I had of her, tangled up with another man. There was nothing left to salvage. So I did what I knew best. I kept moving forward. Divorce papers were signed. The house, once a home, was no longer mine. And Clara, well, Clara became just a chapter in my past. The ocean called me back, as it always did. Out at sea, there were no betrayals, no false promises. The waves were ruthless, the storms unforgiving, but at least they were honest. The water didn't pretend to be something it wasn't. I found a strange comfort in that. Out there, I knew where I stood. And for now, that was enough. Betrayal is a wound that cuts deep. It shakes the foundation of everything you thought you knew, leaving you to rebuild from the ground up. But perhaps the hardest part isn't losing someone. It's losing the version of yourself that believed in them. Maybe you've been there too. Maybe you've felt the weight of a trust broken, a love shattered. So tell me, how did you find your way forward? Let's share our stories. Let's remind each other that even in loss, we can find strength. Drop a comment below. And as always, thank you for joining me in Wives Gone Wild. Until next time.